When Charlie Met Jesus. Chapter 1. Something is missing. A quiet thirst can be the first knock of a God you don't yet know.
From the outside, my life looked fine. I had a job, friends, and a phone full of notifications. I was doing fine, mostly. But in the quiet moments, I'd feel a faint tug inside me. Not panic or depression, just a pull. Like a thirst I couldn't quench, or a word on the tip of my tongue. Something just out of reach. It wasn't dramatic, more like noticing a door you've never opened in a room you've lived in for years. You don't know what's behind it, but you can't stop wondering why it's there. That's the best way I can describe it. A wondering, a restlessness, a sense that life had more depth than what I was skimming off the surface. I didn't talk about it with anyone. How do you explain a longing you can't define? So I filled my days with work, noise, and screens. I filled my nights with podcasts and playlists to keep my mind busy. But the quiet moments still came. Those pockets of stillness where the questions rose again. Is this it? Is this all there is? Why do I feel like I'm missing something I've never had? I didn't think of it as spiritual. I wasn't religious or anti-religious. I just didn't have a category for God beyond vague childhood memories of Christmas Eve services and a few half-hearted prayers during stressful moments. But the older I got, the more I felt that tug, subtle, persistent, almost gentle, like someone tapping lightly on a door I wasn't sure I wanted to open. I met Sheldon on a Tuesday that felt like any other. I was at a small coffee shop near my apartment. The kind with warm lighting and mismatched chairs. I liked it because it felt safe and predictable, and because the background noise made it easier to ignore the quiet questions in my head. I was halfway through a lukewarm latte when Sheldon walked in. I'd seen him before, always talking with someone, always listening with a calm attentiveness that made people lean in. He wasn't flashy, but he carried a kind of peace that made you notice him. That day, the shop was crowded, and the only empty seat was across from me. He approached with a gentle smile.
Mind if I sit here?
I nodded. He settled in with a book and tea. For a while, we didn't speak. He read. I pretended to work, but I kept glancing at him, curious. There was something about him, steady, like he knew where he was going in life, and why. Eventually, he looked up and said,
I've seen you here a few times.
Yeah. It's a good place to think. He smiled knowingly.
Or to avoid thinking.
I laughed, caught off guard. Maybe both. He didn't push. After a moment, he asked,
Do you ever feel like you're thirsty for something you can't quite name?
The question hit me harder than I expected. What makes you ask that? He shrugged gently.
Most people feel it at some point. That quiet ache for more, even when life is going well.
I hesitated, then said, Yeah, I guess I do feel that sometimes. He nodded, not surprised.
I understand how you feel. I used to feel the same way.
What changed? I asked. He closed his book.
I met someone who satisfied that thirst.
I raised an eyebrow. Someone?
Yes. Someone who changed everything for me.
Finally, I asked, Who? He smiled. Not a salesman's smile, but the smile of someone remembering a person they genuinely love.
Jesus.
I felt a flicker of caution. I tried to keep my tone neutral. You mean religion? He shook his head.
No, I mean Jesus himself.
I didn't know what to say to that. Jesus was a name I associated with nativity scenes and internet arguments. Not with thirst, not with longing, not with whatever it was I'd been feeling. But Sheldon didn't push. He just said,
If you ever want to talk about him, I'd be glad to.
Then he went back to his book. But I didn't go back to mine, because for the rest of the day, and the days that followed, his question echoed in my mind. Do you ever feel thirsty for something you can't name? Yes. I did, and for reasons I couldn't explain, I found myself wanting to talk to him again, wanting to understand what he meant, wanting to know who Jesus really was, not the version I'd heard about in passing, but the one Sheldon spoke of with such quiet certainty. The one who, apparently, quenches thirst. The one who changes everything.
And you will seek me and find me, when you search for me with all your heart. Jeremiah 29:13.